Okay. So Excel is just a spreadsheet that you can use for various stuff. You can use it as a data management tool where you keep all your data. You can use it for analysis. You can use it for reporting. And working with Excel is quite flexible, so it allows you to put in many formulas, and you can actually use it for presentation as well. So there are a number of things you can use Excel for. The first thing I'm going to start with is how to open Excel. And you need to have Microsoft Excel installed on your system. And all you need to do is click on the icon and you open a new spreadsheet. One thing with Excel is there are various ways of doing things in Excel. I already have an Excel spreadsheet open. To open a new one, you can do a Control N, which will open a new spreadsheet for you. You can see I have a blank spreadsheet now, and it's just by pressing Control and N, and I've opened a new spreadsheet. On a spreadsheet, you can have different tabs. So on here, can you still see my screen? On here, I have sheet 1, which is blank. There's nothing on it. We'll start by entering data on this. So let's start with Tesco supermarket. And to enter a data, you just have to click on a cell, and all these square rectangular things are called cells. So if you click on it and you just type. So I'm just going to create a simple data. This is Tesco supermarket. Let's look at what Tesco can sell. Items. So I have items. And first thing, let's see, cucumber. We have onions, tomatoes. This is just creating a basic data on Excel. It's all fish. Paper, towels. And assuming this is like a small business, a small supermarket, and you have an inventory of the items you have in your store. So at cucumber, you have 10 items, 20 items. Onions, you have 40. Tomatoes, 35. Fish, 5. Paper towels, you have 74. So this is a basic table in Excel. So I'll make this quantity. Anytime you click on a cell in Excel, that cell has an address. It's just like your address. So where I have items, thank you, thanks for muting that. So anywhere we have, when you click on a cell, it has an address. If you look at here, you can see B3. So the address will be the address of the column and the row. So this is on column B and row 3. And if I move to the next one, the address is C3, which is column C and row 3. And anywhere you click, you have an address here that will show here. And this is a basic table. If you want to know how many items we have in the store, the quantity, we can put a simple formula to add the quantity of all these items together. It can be as simple as one cell plus the other cell plus the next cell plus the next cell. So it can be, before you put a formula in Excel, the first thing you have to start with is the equal to sign. And then you can click on one cell, you can put a plus, click on the next cell that you want to add, put a plus, click on the next one, put another plus, click on the next one, another plus, and the last one another plus, and that is our total for all these items. That is one way of doing it. That's the most basic way of doing it. You can use a sum. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to look at all these functions and let you know what they do. There is a function here. I don't know the version of Excel you have, but there is usually a function here that says auto sum. If you click on it, it assumes you want to sum the numbers that are adjacent to that cell, or that are on top of that cell or beside that cell. And then all you need to do is click on the cell you want to put the sum in, click on auto sum and enter. And you have the sum as well. Another way of doing it, I'll delete that. Another way of doing that, let me just delete that, is you can put an equal to sign and type in sum, open a bracket and just select every figure, every cell you want to sum together, close the bracket and enter, and then you have the same number. So this is just the simple, how to create a simple formula in Excel. There are many functions in Excel that you can use to format. I'm going to start with the file. When you want to open a spreadsheet, you can click on File, and then you can open, which will take you to the folders you already have. You can open a new spreadsheet, that's the new function. If you click on this, you can open a new spreadsheet. On the Home button, you have a lot of functions on the Home button. The first, I'm going to look at the boxes one by one. Let me start with this button, which is the copy function. When you hover on any button, it will give you a brief description of what that button does. So this is the copy function, and what a copy does is simply making a copy. So on cell C4, I want to copy this 20 to another cell. Instead of typing it again, I can click on the cell, I'll click on copy, I'll click on the other cell I want to put it, in this case G4, and then I'll click on this paste function. So it will copy whatever you select, and you copy, and it will put it wherever you want to put it. This is a simple one, but you can imagine when you have like a big spreadsheet that has hundreds, thousands of lines, you can simply select it and click on copy and paste. I'll do that again. I want to select this whole supermarket. I don't want to type it again. So I will select it, and selecting is just clicking on it and dragging your cursor down. So you click on the first cell, you hold your left mouse down, and you drag it over it, and then you can copy, and then let's put it in G2 and we paste. And it's as simple as that. Even when you have a formula, it will paste the formula as well. So I have a formula here on C9, and it's pasted the formula here. So it's that simple. If on the other hand, I want to remove it totally from this side, I want to place it somewhere else, I would use the cut function, which is this one that looks like the scissors. So I would select it as well. I would cut. I'll place it where I want. I'll click on where I want it, and I will paste. And that will move it entirely from where it was before to the new place. We can format, we can change the font of this by clicking on the function here that says font. Currently I'm on Calibri. I can change it to any of these functions. And when you hover on it, you can see the font changing until you pick the one you want. So let's look at Arial. You can change the size using this button here, you can change it to any size you want. Once you hover on it, you see how the size changes, and you can pick the right one. I'm going to pick 14. I'm going to do a copy. Another way of doing a copy is Ctrl+C. So for every button you have here, you have shortcuts that you can use your desktop, your keyboard for. So if I want to copy this, I can just press Ctrl and C, and then paste it is Ctrl+V. If you want to copy, Ctrl+C. If you want to paste, Ctrl+V. If I don't want to do this again, I want to undo this. There's a button here. There's an undo button here. And all you need to do is click on it, and it would undo whatever you have done. And even if you do a number of steps, you can still go back and undo a lot of the steps you've done. And if you change your mind, you want to redo that, there's another button beside it, and it will just redo the last thing you did. So I will delete, okay. I'm going to change the font of this. So select. I'm going to change the font to another font entirely. And look, I have two different fonts here. I want to explain what this button that looks like a brush, is called the Format Painter. I want to explain what it does. If I want to change the font of this bit here to what I have here, I don't have to go to the font button to change it. I can just select this. I'll click on my brush, which is the Format Painter. I will select the one I want to change, and it changes the font. So what this does is, it's like a painter. It paints the font or the format on another set of data. So if I color this, yellow, and I want to color this bit yellow, all I need to do is select this, click on my Format Painter, and click on this, and then I have yellow. I would undo that. So assuming, so this, another way of doing that is to open this button here. So this button, you can open it up to have a dialog box. So here, all you need to do is select the data. You can change the alignment. You can change the font here. You can change the fill, which is the yellow. I'm just going to do that. So I will select this. I want to change different fonts at the same time. So I would go on this box. I'm just going to move it to this side. I want to change the font to Arial. I'll click on Arial. I want to make it bold. I'll click on bold. If you look at this preview window here, it will show you what it's going to look like. I want to change the size to 12. I want to underline, and then OK, and then it changes. And if you want this to be the same as this, instead of going through that, clicking on so many things, I can just select this, click on my Format Painter, select this, and then they look the same. So that's the work of the Format Painter. If you want to make it bold, that's the bold button. So if you want to make this bold, if you click on the cell, click on bold, that will make it bold. I want to put this in italics, the onions. If you click on I, it will put it in italics. And if you want to underline, this is already underlined. If you click on U, it would underline. And if you want to reverse it, all you need to do is click on it again, and it will reverse it. Click on I again, and it will make it normal. If I click on bold here, it will remove the boldness. If I want to change the font color, this is what I would use. I will use this A with a color underline to change it. If you drop this arrow down, you can pick any color you want. So let's change it to gray. This will change the font size. Clicking on this is another shortcut to change the font size. This would increase it, this will reduce it. So the big A will increase, the small a will reduce. So the more you click, the smaller it goes for the small a. And presentation-wise, we have this button here that you can use for presentation. If you look at this, I'm just making that bigger. If you look at this Tesco supermarket, if I want to put this Tesco supermarket in the middle of that cell, I'll click on the middle one here and it will center it. I want these items, I want it to be on the right. All I need to do is click on the right and it will put it on the right. So if you hover on any of these cells, it will tell you what it's going to do. So this is align left, this is center, and this is right. This is top, it will align it to the top. This will align it to the middle, and this will align it to the bottom of the cell. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to make one of the cells a bit bigger. So this cucumber, if I want it on the top, if I click on that, go to the top, that will take it to the middle, and this will take it to the bottom. And to make this rows bigger, all you have to do is hover on this line between the rows. And once your cursor changes to this sign, so I'm going to go back. Can you see the cursor changing? Once it changes to that, you hold your left mouse down and you can drag it. So you can drag it as much as you want. And on the rows as well, once it changes, you can drag it. So you can actually drag it any way you want it. I'm going to drag it back. I'm going to drag this back as well. Another way of doing that is you can double click. So once the cursor between the G and H is like that, once it changes to that, if you double click it, it would fit the row to what you have typed in. So I'm going to do that again. So once I double click that, it will fit it. So it will make it either smaller or bigger depending on what you have typed in. So that's another way to actually make your cells bigger or smaller. If for instance, if I've typed a long sentence here and I don't want it to drag all the way to the right, I can wrap this text. I can make it fit. This button here is called wrap text. So what it does is, if I click on the cell, if I click on this, it will wrap it. So it will contain it within the size of that particular cell. So it's useful when you have a long sentence and you don't want to go all the way to the right or to the left to look at it, so you can actually compress it. The margin center is if you want to merge like 3 cells or 4 together, you select the cells and you merge and center it. And what happens is that those 3 cells, they are now one. So that's the function of merge and center. There's a function here, that is the orientation. So you can change your text, you can make it diagonal. If you click on the text and click on that function, you can angle it. Let's angle it clockwise. I'm going to unwrap it. And then you have something like that. If you click on it again, let's angle it counterclockwise. You have that. If you want it vertical, text, click on the vertical, rotate text up, rotate text down, and then when you click on that, on the last option, which is the text format cell alignment, it brings you to the dialog box where you can do different things. You can fill with color, we can align it, we can wrap it. So everything we can do here, you can actually do it in the dialog box as well. So I would undo everything I just did. And the undo button, if you look at the undo button, I've done a couple of things. I can actually undo as far back as I want by clicking on the arrow, the down arrow. So I've done a bit of alignment, I've wrapped the text. I want to actually undo it to row height. So I can just go down and click on row height, and it actually reverses everything I've done up to the row height. And if I want to redo everything again, all I need to do is click on the arrow beside the redo button and pick the one I want to redo. So right now I don't want to redo anything, so I will leave it as it is now. So on the numbers, there's some formatting we can do. For instance, these are the items. The quantity is 20. I want, assuming one cucumber is sold for £1. So I'm going to just put the prices of this here. So onion, let's say 30p, tomatoes 5, 3, 6. So these are my prices. I can actually format this to make them, look like actual currency. So all I need to do is, if you look at this button here, it looks like we have some coins on it, and on the shortcut on the arrow there, you can see English United Kingdom. If I click on it, it will just put the pound sign for me. If I click on the United States, it puts the dollar sign. I think we'll stick with the pound for now. And then if I want to know the total cost for the items in my store, so I've got 20 cucumbers at £1 each. I can multiply these two by putting a simple formula with equal to. I'll click on the quantity of cucumber, which is cell H4, and then I would multiply it, that's my multiplication sign, by clicking on cell I4, which is the price, and I press enter, which gives me £20. So I've got 20 cucumbers at £1 each, which is £20. And I want to do the same. I want to know the total price of onions and tomatoes and all the other items. Well, I don't have to type it in again. I don't have to do equal to and type and multiply quantity by price, because I already have that formula here. I can just drag it down, and then it will calculate for every other thing I have on this table. So to actually drag formulas down, if you put your cursor on the lower angle here, it would change to this cross sign. Once it changes to cross sign, you hold your left mouse down, and then you drag it all the way to where you want the formula to be, and then you release it. And that would actually copy all the formulas down to every single cell that you have dragged it to. Another way of doing this is you can actually copy. So if you remember the copy function here, you can do a copy. So if you select the cell, if you copy it, click on copy, click on where you want it, and click on paste, and it would paste the formula there. And you can do it for the other ones. But the easiest and the fastest way, especially when you have a large spreadsheet, is to just drag it down. If you have a very long spreadsheet, it might be tedious to actually drag it all the way down. One thing you can do is you can double click. And once you double click, it will copy it down to wherever the cell has anything beside it. So I'm going to show you that. So once you get to this corner here, and your cursor changes to this cross sign, if you double click, it would copy it down. This is useful when you have very long spreadsheets and you don't want to, hold the left mouse down and keep dragging down. So as long as you have data beside it, it will copy it down to wherever you want it. So if you click on it and just double click that angle, and it will drag it down. So you can either click on it, drag it, physically drag it. You can copy and paste, and then you can just double click on the angle, and then it will copy it down. And if you want, if you remember, we already have a sum here. I want to know the total sum here. So what I would do is I'll copy this either by pressing Ctrl C or by using this button here, and then I'll click here and I can paste it, and then it would sum this for me. I can change the formatting. If you look at this, this is not in any number formatting. I can change the formatting by clicking on this cell. If you click on any of these angles, it brings up the big dialog box. So if I click on this, I have a dialog box. I want to change this to currency. So if I click on currency here, and then I have the $sign, and this decimal place is saying it's going to put 2 decimal places on the figure. If I don't want that, I can change it. I can change it to 1, I can change it to 0, and then you see what your sample would look like here. Let's make it 2 decimal places, and then I have 66.00. You can also change formatting by these shortcut buttons here. So if I want a percentage, I want to change this to a percentage. If I click on this, it will change it to a percentage. If I want to put a comma in a number, so let's say I've got 3,000 that is not formatted. I want to put a comma in it. I'll just click on that button and it changes the format to this. In this case, I don't want 2 decimal. I want just 3,000 without the decimal. I'll click on this and it will take off the decimal places. So the more I click, the more it takes off the decimal places until there's no decimal point. If I want to add decimal points, I'll click on this and then it will continue to add the decimal places as I click. Let's take it back to 2. And you can also use this button to format. So there's different shortcuts to format. When we get this box here, we have conditional formatting. We have formatting as a table. So conditional formatting is more on intermediate, so I might have to skip that for now. But what conditional formatting does it can format your data. Like for instance, if we have let me put another fish here. And if you have a long data, you want to check for duplicates. I can select the data. I'll go to conditional formatting. I would say highlight cell rules. I want any duplicate here, I want it to be highlighted. So it comes up with this box, duplicate light red with dark red fill. And then what it does is any duplicate on your data, on the selected data, it would highlight it for you. So it's good when you don't want, duplicates, so you can actually see the ones that are duplicates. I would undo this. So you can use conditional formatting for different things. You can ask it to highlight if the figure is between a particular figure and a particular one. You can create rules. So for instance, on the quantity, if I go to conditional formatting, I can make a new rule. So I can say, I can also use it for duplicate. I can say, so use a formula to determine which cells to format. I can say any cell that is greater than 20. I want to format this. I want to fill it with green or blue. So make this number first, okay. So conditional formatting, new rule. So format also based on the value. So I want, if the type is number, the value is 20. Let me use the formula. So only cells between, let me use that. Format only cells that contain, this is cell between, I want greater than 20. Format, I want it to color it green. Okay. Okay. No, that's too dark. So any value above 20 is actually colored in green. That is, the color is way too dark. So I will just undo that. So what you did is it's just colored. So you can use conditional formatting for different things. You can use it to highlight duplicates. You can use it to pick out the top and bottom figures. You can use it to like highlight values between a particular number and another number. For formatting as a table, if you want to turn this to a table, there are so many uses of tables. It has a lot of advantages. I would, let me change this format. Okay. If you want to convert this to a table, if you click on this, you can see different formats of tables, and we can let's just pick one. And then it turns it to a table. There are many advantages to a table, which we'll do on the next one. I'm just going to change so we can say. Okay. So that's just basic formatting and conditioning. We have you can insert extra lines on this. Like if you have the data, I'm gonna delete this. Okay. So if you want to insert extra lines, so I want to type something between cucumber and onions, and I don't want to overwrite it. I can just right click on the row. So if you look at my cursor, when it changes to that arrow, if I right click, it comes up with a couple of options. And you can use it to cut, you can use it to copy as well. If you have already copied, you have the paste function highlighted. You can use this to insert. So in this case, I want to insert another row. And what it does is it will insert another row and it will format it like the row on top. I'm just going to do that redo that to show you something. So I'll right click, insert. After inserting, if you look at this format, there's this format painter that has appeared, and it appeared because it wants to give me some options. It wants to ask me if I want to format it as the one on top or as the row below. In this case, it will default to the format of the row above. So if I click the one below, then it will default to the one below. So it's actually, let me color, if I color this, then you'll see the effect of that. I'm just going to delete that. So I would insert, and then if I say format same as below, it will make it yellow. So the format of the one below is yellow. And I can say clear formatting, and it takes up all the formatting. The same way I can also delete. So this, I've inserted a new row. I want to delete this. So if you right click, if you delete it, then it disappears. Another way to, if I just want to insert within this table, I can select where I want to insert, right click, and insert. Then it will ask me, do you want to shift cells down or right or up? So I can pick any one. It would assume that I want to shift cells down depending on what the table looks like. So if I want to shift it down, I'll click OK. And then I have options for the formatting as well. I would undo that and do that again. So insert. This time around, I want to shift the cells. I want to shift it to the right. So I'll click right, and then it moves it to the right. I will undo that. Another way of doing it is using these buttons here. So I've got insert, I've got delete, and you've got the format. So if we select it, if we do insert cells, then it will come up with that same dialog box on what you want to do. So if shift cells down, okay. So you can use these functions. So if you want to delete cells, and then it will ask you what you want to do. I'm shifting the cells up, and I've just reversed what I did now. So we use the auto sum function initially. So I want to sum this. This will be, I'll use this auto sum function. So if you click on the cell you want to put the sum, click on auto sum and enter, and then it will put the sum for you. Okay, let me bring in a quick table so we can use the filter function. Okay, so I have this table here. I just want to show us, I'm still on the home button. If you want to filter, what a filter does is it puts a filter on a data so that you can actually sort and you can find items faster. So if you select this data, you can either select by clicking on the first cell, holding your left mouse and just moving the cursor down. Another way of selecting is you can click on any cell and you can do a Control A and then you select that. So if you select to put a filter on, if you go to this button here and you click on filter, you have filters on your first row, and you can actually use the filters to sort. You can use it to look for items. So for instance, I only want, this is like a bike shop. and I just want on the product, I want to only see the byte. So you click on the filter beside the product, you unselect all, so that you click on select all to unselect everything, and just click on the bike. And then what comes up with just the bike. You can do the same for skateboard, and then you have only skateboard. You can select two or more, bike and skateboard in this instance, and then you have bike and skateboard. And to clear the filter, if you click on that, you click clear filter from product, then you can clear the filter. One thing you can also do is you can use these filters to sort. So on this occasion, I want to sort by region. So I want to sort A to Z. So I have all the regions in one place. So I can click sort A to Z, and then it sorts it alphabetically according to the region. If I want to sort by product, I can sort Z to A if I want, and then it sorts it by the product. And this filter that I've put on, if I don't want filters anymore, all I need to do is select the filters, go back to this button, and clear the filter. And then it clears. If I don't want filters anymore, if I want to take the filters off completely, I click on filter again, and the filters will go. The filters are really useful in document because it helps to do a lot of things. So I'll put this filter back on. So if I want, let me just go to my topics and say solid bottom. Okay. Okay. There are so many buttons there that I don't think I'll be able to get to. But let me do, I think I'll skip this border. So there's a button here. It's if you want to put borders on your data, you need to select the data. So let me select this data. I think I need something smaller. Ctrl C. I'm just going to copy a bit of that here. I want to put all borders here. So you see an example of what you're doing here. If you want to put all borders, which I just did, all I need to do is put all borders, and then it comes up with borders. This can be quite useful when you want to like print your data, and then it's more visually appealing. If you can change the borders to anything. I want thick outside borders. You have outside borders on it. If you want to change, you can actually change the weight of these borders. So I want it to, so this is the line color. You can change the color. Let's change it to this. So you select it. Oh yeah, it did change, but it's just very faint. Let me put outside. Let's do an outside. Take outside borders. I will actually show. Yeah. So can you see this color change? It was just really thin. We can make the weight of the borders bigger. Let's see more borders. Just pick a bigger one. Okay. And then it's slightly bigger than what we had. Let me see what we have on the topic again. Number formatting, insert functions. Okay. There's so many spreadsheets open. Where am I? List and tables. Okay. So we have the insert function, which we're going to look at in during the next lesson. And we're going to look at pivot tables on the next one, how to actually create pivot tables, and how to do some more formulas like VLOOKUP and ifs and averages and sums and sum ifs on the next week. And next week we're going to look at charts as well. So on the insert button, you can insert a pivot table. You can insert charts. We're going to look at some charts next week. We can change. For this one, I think we should talk briefly on printing of spreadsheets. So if we want to print spreadsheets, sometimes it spreads across different pages, and you might want to just print it on a page. So for instance, I want to print my selection here. All I need to do is I would select it. I'll go to my page layout. I'll go to the print area and I will set print area. So what I've done is I've set this area to print. So when I click on print, it would actually just print the area I've selected as my page print area. And to know what area is going to print, if you look at these three buttons here, just below the spreadsheet, there's one that says page break preview. If you click on that, it will show you what it's going to print. So it will show me that it will highlight what it's going to print. It shows that this is just one page. If it's going to spread across different pages, you will see it across different pages. Let me use a bigger one. Let me set this as a print area. So I'll select this, click on print area, set print area. And I'll click on this button to see what is going to print. And if you look at this one, I've got this spread across two pages. So this is page 1 and this is page 2. However, I probably just want to print this on one page. So what I will do is there's this dotted line. I can actually drag it down. And the way you drag it down, I'll undo that. So once you have your cursor on it and it changes to this like a double-sided arrow, if you click on your left button on the mouse and just drag that down, and then you have it on one page, and then you can go ahead and print this. To leave this screen, all you need to do is click on the normal screen, and then you're back to your normal screen. So for next week, we're going to look at pivot tables. We're going to do some more formulas. We're going to do the VLOOKUP. We're going to create a pivot. We're going to create some charts and how to create simple charts. We're going to look at how to use our data, how to remove duplicates, some data validation. If you want to restrict the use of your spreadsheet, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at some review functions, like the spell check. You'll be surprised that it took me a long time before I knew that Excel could actually do spell check. I used to put it on Word to spell check for me, but you can actually do spell check on Excel. And then we'll look at the different how to freeze panes, how to copy tabs, how to copy worksheets, and then how to link worksheets. So we'll do that next week. If you let me know what you want me to cover next week, and then if you drop me a message, and we'll cover it. I hope this has been useful. I understand. I appreciate it's quite basic, but it's good to start from the basic for those who don't use Excel often. Thanks for logging in, and I would not take too much of your time.
Hello. Hello.
The session next week is also 9 to 10. So we're going to be doing it at 9 to 10 next week on Wednesday. Sorry, who's Oladayo? Thanks for logging in. I'm going to be ending the session now.
Thank you, Kami.